Good evening, kalispera. My name is Sophia Michalopoulou. I'm on the island of Corfu, Greece. And I work with water. Not just in water, but with it. And I work with water to help people remember their birth journeys. I work with babies and families to remember the love that connects them. And I also work with water as a pregnancy and birth doula. From before conception all the way through to birth. And I'm finding that by supporting life with water, we are able to remember more of who we are. At the same time, I realize that we're living in urgent times. And this is really an important time in our choosing, in our awakening. And water is able to facilitate this awakening because it connects us and it brings us together. Quite literally. So I've called for a water conscious circle, which happens once a month online. And I'm not alone in this. I'm now connected with many beautiful friends, colleagues, sisters, brothers, locally and internationally. And we're going to be meeting online every month until we manage to meet in Arelas in Corfu on the 1st and 2nd of October. And we will be looking at different aspects of water. So Apostolia Papadamaki and Evi Terzi, who is also in the circle this evening, are going to be looking at water as an educational environment, water as movement. It also happens that today is International Water Day. And many people have been gathering around the world since early this morning. So this is our opportunity to come together in circle. Shortly, I'm going to be inviting Apostolia, Arianna, Evi, Mukta, and all of you to be sharing something about your connection with water. So to start, I'd like us to imagine that we're not all these little squares on a screen, but we're actually in a circle. Can we do that? Can we perhaps close our eyes, shake our bodies just a little bit so it doesn't feel stiff? And if you feel like you want to stand up and be in a circle, or you prefer to sit down, that's okay too. But imagine that the circle that we are creating this evening, we are all looking inwards towards the center of this circle. As if we are looking at a pool of water. Our feet are softly but firmly on the ground. You might like to feel that your feet are in fact standing in water. Water is helping our transmission. Very, very gently connect to your breath, very naturally. There's no forcing or pushing, just coming into your body and connecting with the flow of your breath. And as you feel your chest gently rise and fall like a wave, you might like to bring your hands to your heart. Actually find your physical heart. Find your heartbeat. This is the beat that starts at around 4 weeks after our conception. This is the beat that is unique to each and every one of us. We have a unique heartbeat. Which sends a pulse through the fluids, through the 75% water of our body. Our heart is sending a signal through our whole system, informing it, attuning it, aligning it with where we're at in this present moment. And if we take a deeper breath, we might find that we're able to slow that heartbeat down just a little. And we can actually choose to regulate our heartbeat to a frequency of gratitude. Just by choosing to open our hearts just a little. In gratitude for being present in this circle. Now you might be able to feel the pulse of gratitude flowing through the waters of your body. And if you feel very much attuned to this energy, you might feel that the ripples of your heart pulse are reaching out beyond you, beyond the container of your body, and actually reaching out to meet the ripples of another person's heartbeat standing next to you. And perhaps those ripples of our heartbeat are getting bigger and reaching the person that is across, that is standing across us in this circle. And perhaps the ripples that we are all creating are slowly unifying and synchronizing with each other. And perhaps we start co-regulating each other as the ripples of our creation slowly move outwards, connecting our circle with all other circles that are meeting and gathering today around the world. From Hawaii to Ireland and to Australia and Africa. And through our waters, we are one water. We are no longer separate. And this little heart of mine is able to make an impact on the waters inside of me, on the waters of the one beside me, and in all waters. And as we very gently come back into our bodies, in the knowing that the ripple effects of water continue to spread outwards. And I'm going to reach through my computer, through the waters, through space, over to my sister, Arianna. And I'm going to ask her to chant us a beautiful Hawaiian song, a chant, connecting us with another culture, another island that is very closely related to water.
E vai ua ua ka ua ua iho mai ka vai ola ola ke ka vai lono o olono ka leo leo na kupuna puna vai a kane. Kane a ka vai kanaloa ke kai kai ola kino vai ola kino no ke mau ke ola ola mahe 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 ke kino. Kino iho no I ola ka pono leo leo hi mai ka o mai ke ola ola e kumahe e. O hi ola ke ka vai lono o olono ka leo leo na kupuna puna vai a kane. E vai ua ua ka ua ua iho mai ka vai ola e. Io ka vai ola ola vai iwi na vai iwi ola o ke ala ku kapu. Kapu malu ia ke ala e. E ola. I want Igor to read you the translation of this chant. That is also a breathing exercise that with the emotional effect of many people didn't succeed perfectly, but I'm very grateful to be able to share this kind of, it's not only a chant, it's a purification chant / prayer that since like 13 years I chant every time I take a shower.
Indeed, rain upon the land, rain becomes water of life, the living waters of Lono. Hear the voices, voices of the ancestors, the springs of Kane, Kane of the water, Kanaloa of the sea living body, water living body, to preserve the life, a life once pure, cleanse the body, hear our body, release the wrong, never to return, place the life, our pure life, the living waters of Lono, hear the voices, voices of the ancestors, the springs of Kane, indeed rain upon the land, rain becomes water of life. Rejoice the waters of life, ancient water, living waters of the sacred pathway, sacred protection of Keala. Eola.
And so it is.
Uh-huh. Thank you, Igor and Arianna. Could you tell us where you are? I'm not sure it was clear at the beginning where you are.
We're in Amsterdam, locked down in an apartment on the 6th floor. We're very unhappy. No, we're living on Corfu and we're the lucky ones. Yeah, it's very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Thank you.
We are near the sea. Today I was very grateful to go with Sophia for some water blessings in the river. We didn't reach the sea, but we went to the river, we cleaned, picked up a lot of plastic, and spread some flowers and some banana flowers that look like boats full of flowers. It was a moment of gratitude and prayer. Again, another Hawaiian chant for me, because that's the way I learned to connect with sacred ancient traditions. That's what came into my life. I hope I will learn some Greek chants. I know some amazing people, Pollyanna and Polixeni, have created a gratitude song for Samothraki that says Ευχαριστώ νερό.
Ιερό νερό, κάθαρο νερό, γαργάρο κρυσταλλινό νερό. Ιερό νερό, κάθαρο... I need to bring my drum or my rattle. This song has become, comes from all of us, and we all sing it in Greek now, this song, Iero Nero, sacred water.
Could you sing it for us, Apostolia?
Yeah, I think I can. Just a second.
Maybe it's the first Greek words we learned because we met them years ago before moving here.
Ιερό νερό, γάργαρο νερό, καθαρό κρυσταλλινό νερό. Ιερό νερό, καθαρό νερό, γαργάρο κρυσταλλινό νερό. Πόσο σ' αγαπώ, πόσο σε ευχαριστώ νεράκι μου. Πόσο σ' αγαπώ, πόσο σε ευχαριστώ νεράκι μου. Iayana heine, iayana heine, iayana hiana heine yowe. Iayana heine, iayana heine, iayana hiana heine yowe. Iayana heine, iayana hiana heine yowe. Iayana heine, iayana hiana heine yowe. Penelope, you know this song too. Penelope, where is Penelope? I think Penelope.
Ναι, το ξέρω το τραγούδι, αλλά...
Sing the second verse. You can sing the second verse. Sing the second. We can't sing synchronized. Zoom is not supporting it.
Ωραίο, περιμένω.
Νερά των θαλασσών, νερά των ποταμών, γάργαρα νερά καταραχτών. Το second verse, for Penelope.
Δεν ακούτε. Okay. You
Σ'
cannot...
ακούμε, αλλά κάνει μια παρεμβολή. There is a sound that is disturbing something.
Αυτό.
Thank you, Penelope. Thank you, Arianna, for the proposal. There are many traditional Greek songs about the water, anyway, because the water is a sacred element from the ancient Greece, even before the 2,500 years, from more, 5 to 10,000 years ago. It is a sacred element, and in Greece still, there are ancient springs, purifying springs, where people pray. And because Sophia brought it in the beginning, in ancient Greek philosophy and cosmology, not religion, Plato, first of all, and Pythagoras, they talk about remembrance. They talk about, which is actually part of my work too, the remembering. Through Plato says that people, they don't need to learn, humans, they need to remember. And to remember, they need to purify. And they can remember through archetypical movements, sounds, and words. So if people can repeat archetypical movements, sounds, and words, they create vibrations, and then remembrance comes. And the element that's connected with remembrance from ancient Greece is the water. So the water carries memory and ancient wisdom. This is also in the ancient Greek tradition, as in many other traditions of the world. And I'm not sure if I should continue. Maybe I took the place of someone, Sophia. Maybe Arianna wanted to continue.
If you want us to share briefly what we did with water already, if this is the right moment. When we were living in Switzerland, because Igor's main gift is sound and vibration, we were organizing singing circles on March 22nd today. We had several circles, and we invited people to join us. We would take a glass of the water of the lake before the singing, and then do the singing, and then take another glass, wrap them in tin foil, and give them in the hands of a beautiful Swiss woman who was friend of a man who has a lab, just like Masaru Emoto. He was taking pictures of the crystals of the water. So we have seen several times the effect of our singing on the water, or what was shared between us and nature. Because, for instance, one time we sang in a place that looked very geometrical, the structure was geometrical, and during the singing some swans came and had a beautiful love fight. So two men were fighting before finding the woman. The water crystals in the pictures, the first crystal looked like this geometric shape of the place where we were singing, and the second looked like a swan. So I think the swan was much more powerful than our singing, but we could definitely see a change in the shape of the crystal between the first and the second time we took the waters. And to come together with people to dedicate prayers and the singing for the water, for our water, for the world water, knowing that it's an element present almost everywhere, was a big blessing for us.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm having a very direct connection today to water. I really felt that maybe for the first time in my life, I was able to allow such sadness to come up and such deep emotion to come up that I could really become a waterfall. I was for almost a full hour just crying and wailing, and a lot of fear programs came up in that, and I was really feeling that I was allowing it to flow through me. I was becoming more and more just not a container, but a conduit, a tube. It's not a closed vessel, this body of mine. It's an open vessel at the bottom, at the top, and in all of my main points. And I got a lot of energy from crying and letting go. So later in the day, after having renovated both bathrooms, again, water, cleaning the baths, and then I went out to the river, which was very overgrown, and with a machete, I made a path through that, and then made a little platform over the little river that was there, so that I could sit, or we could all enjoy a place sitting on the river as it comes through us. So for me, Water Day is very special this time. I'm fully it. So I'm very happy to be part of the sharing of this story as well, to hear all of you.
Thank you for bringing it up, this, Igor, because it connects to something I would love to share with everyone. It's been now 3 or 4 months that I feel a deep connection with the waters of the planet, like they're changing their frequencies, they're calling, but it's something that I cannot prove, but it's something that I deeply feel. And I went through a lot of crying, a lot for 4 months, almost every day with no reason, in, irrelevant times of the day, without any thoughts, crying, like bringing up into the surface, just because with all this lockdown, we all turn in, and we are somehow allowing to see our emotions and to see patterns since childhood and even since birth and since before birth. And to create space to remember, we need to release first, otherwise we don't have. In tears, I'm releasing, that's what I thought. But again, it was not like other times, these tears, this crying, because it was not crying out for something. It was tears of realizations, tears of fears, tears of patterns that were somewhere hiding, and I couldn't know where. And then I started researching a lot about the waters in the body, and I read that the pineal gland, the epiphysis, is made mainly by water and crystals. And that tears and crying is cleaning, let's say, the old programs and patterns that are keeping us in low frequencies. They're keeping us in our pain bodies, emotional pain bodies, dependence, false beliefs, illusions. And then suddenly this made a lot of sense, because I work a lot also with sound and movement and water and da-da-da. And I realized that all this crying was a purification. And I share this with everybody because maybe some of you go through sorrow or sadness or crying and you can't explain it. And that resonated so much to me. And then I realized that somehow it's not only me, but many people on planet Earth at this moment are connecting with the inner waters, because the waters of the planets somehow are calling us to connect with them. They're calling, and they're calling in the invisible, not in the material world. Because I'm in lockdown, I visited the sea, yes, but I cannot go. But I feel it, even the water from the tub. When I open the water from the tub, I feel like the water is talking to me. Hey, wake up, remember, empty yourself. Allow me to show you somehow. And it's something very tangible inside, this feeling, this guidance, this connection that I cannot prove, but I'm sure that somehow you get it.
It definitely resonates, Apostolia. And I feel the reply to that is how we came together, how many of us in the circle that are showing up today came together. Like the flow and the synchronicity of the gathering has been phenomenal. And there's been movement to do with water when everything else has been really still. And I feel that the circles that have been coming together globally this year are more powerful and more focused and with intention than ever before. And it's a visceral feeling. It's a feeling that's from the womb, from the organs, from the backs of our spine. It's not a mental thought or a projection or a fantasy. And I'm wondering, Apostolia, if what you mentioned you'd like to share, you mentioned this morning that you'd like to share about your guitar and going back to that cellular liquid humming, because I think what we are remembering at the same time is that we are empowered to choose what we vibrate our fluids with.
Yes, thank you, Sophia. Okay, I believe a lot in the body. I believe in embodied practices. I believe that the body has all the wisdom that we need. So I invite you to do something. So it's not a lecture, it's not a discussion, it's also some embodied practices. So I'd like you to come into the notion that, okay, we know we are 70% water. Our body has 70% water, right? Our body consists of body cells. So I want you to feel that each cell of ours has 70% water. So the cell is a watery entity, a watery being, let's say, every cell. Now imagine, just bring your hand like this, just bring two hands like this. And imagine you drop a drop of water on a body of water like this. And then it creates a ripple effect, right? So if this is a cell in your body and this is the water, then every cell goes like this and it influences every other cell of the billions of cells that we have, okay? So now instead of dropping a drop of water, do this again. Please follow me like children, let's play. Imagine that this is a sound and it does a bang or a shoo, any kind of sound, the water resonates. So when the sound comes in, the water reacts with movement that creates different shapes. Do you agree? Just give me thumbs up if that resonates. So when we have a sound and a body of water, this sound creates to the water movements that create shapes. So the same happens to our body cells. So when we bring sound, our body cells start being in a certain frequency and there is a movement. And so then we want to start moving. I work a lot with our own voice. So at this moment, I tell you that it's a different thing to listen to a sound that is external, that can bring a frequency in your waters, and is a different thing to listen to your own voice or to your own voice and an external sound, and then create frequencies in your body by your own voice. So we're going to do something like for 10 minutes, Sophia, is okay? 10 or 15 minutes? 10? 7? 5? 5. 5. I will try, but 5 will not be enough to go into movement also. I'll try. 6. Okay. So we will start with our eyes open. First of all, close your eyes and open your hearing and listen to every sound that is in the room that you are with no judgment. Listen to every sound that is outside the room that you are. And also you listen to the sound of the computer, of course, but open the hearing. Connect a lot with the movement of your breath. Allow your breath to breathe you, so no control on the breath. And surrender, soften the skin of your mouth, of your face, of your tongue. Just soften with kindness. And in every exhalation, we go together into a very simple And in this in every imagine that all the cells of your body keep the are receiving a resonance, and they create ripple effects. They are moving in every So start feeling with me. Keep on humming and allow all the watery cells of your body to start resonating, having ripple effects. We go with the ha. A liquid voice, a soft, gentle, liquid voice, Keep with the a very simple is about the frequency, not about the melody. Imagine your watery happy cells on your body doing dancing and humming with you. Ha, 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 please stand up. Please stand up and let your body move like waves left and right or front and back. As you allow the body to wave. As you move, waving, move like a wave, move like a wave. As you feel all the water cells in your body dancing for you, with you. Surrender to the watery experience. Become the water in every little cell and allow the sound. Feel the saliva in your body. Feel the blood in your body. It's all water. Feel your brain cleaning, emptying, just filling up with pure, clear water. You can move your arms like water. You can move your body like water. Keep on using your voice. Now we go to water sounds. The la, 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 and the r, la, 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 la. So we improvise. La, 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 la. So start singing love to the waters of your body. The melody is not important. We're improvising together, so allow yourself, your voice, to create the watery sounds of love to your own waters. Hai lama tayano mai. I love you, water in hey, I love Taima, any sound, any syllables. I lama Kalen. These are very, very small waves, but we can have big waves. How the water would talk to you. Silena. Create your own water language. The secrets of the water. I am the water in your body. I'm the water in your mind. I'm the water in your heart. I'm the water in your soul. I am the water of this planet. I'm the water of the ocean. I'm the water of life. just made it, so please excuse me. And sigh out any fear that is bringing you resistance to surrender. So we sigh out all together, all the fear. We sigh out the resistance to surrender, to flow, to become fluid, to just let go and flow like the water, to take all the shapes and to become the container for all the shapes, to find no obstacles and just to flow around anything that comes in our life. Hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah. Water, I love you. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you because I'm one. I'm one with you. Every cell of your body, every cell of your body resonates. Every cell of your heart resonates. Every cell of your soul remembers what it means that we are all one, what it means that we can all flow, what it means that we can all unite, what it means that we are all water, what it means. And we close with a tender, loving song to ourselves, to our watery shells. La 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 la, like the rain. La 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 la, imagine yourself singing in the womb of your mother before you were born. And keep on moving, keep on sounding. We go to no stop immediately. The water, you know, cannot stop immediately. The water just takes its time, takes the time that it needs to rest for a while. Because the water never stops flowing. It's just resting for a while and then keeps going through the circles of life, honoring every circle of life, everyone. And just keep on moving, close your eyes and stay in silence for 1 minute and observe how you feel physically, emotionally. If there are any thoughts right now, or if you can feel the vibrations in your brain, in your body, if you can feel a little bit more unified within all your parts. If you are in need of something, or if you are fulfilled at this moment, a moment of unison, a moment of fulfillment, a moment of truth, a moment of being present to the gift of being in the moment and wanting nothing else. And take a deep breath, everyone. We sigh all together and then we open our eyes. So take a deep breath. And you can open your eyes. And thank you so much for this journey. Sophia, I don't know how much time I did.
You did exactly the right amount of time.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was beautiful to see the shapes, how many shapes and forms water can take in such little time, and all the different qualities that we can conjure up within our bodies. And as we sort of let the particles settle back down again. Thank you, Apostolia. That was really beautiful. Thank you. So Apostolia's sharing for me is very much part of water movement and the aquatic environment as a place for learning and healing. And this is very much one of the themes for our gathering in October. And if you go over to chat, when you feel ready, I've actually put the Weebly website for this gathering. And joining Apostolia in the movement aspect of water is Evi Terzi. I don't know if Evi, you want to put your mic on and say hello to everyone and tell us a little bit where you are. And
yes, hi to all. Thank you very much for this invite. Yes, last year I came the Water Day, 22 of March, I came to Corfu. I moved in Corfu from Berlin, where I came here just to spend some months in lockdown, but I met a beautiful community and stayed here for the summer. We opened a dance circle with women. Sophia was a part of it, Arianna, Colleen, and as a teacher, as a dancer, I have experimented a lot with the elements, and one of my favorite, maybe my favorite, the most challenging, is water. And I worked a lot with kids, and I see how the kids immediately can pass with some archetypical ideas, as Apostolia said, to the intuitive knowledge, like the linear, the logical mind closes immediately and they go and they become water, and how they can connect with the water and love it. And working later with adults and water, I saw that there is a lot of release in the body. And sometimes the releases were so big that people start to cry or to have pain. And I saw there that something very powerful to work with water and to find this fluidity, and the idea that of fluidity, that what we call a body is not matter, but a movement, that the movement is the fundamental reality. And that's what I would like to say about water. Working with water as a teacher, as a dancer, how when you connect with the really surrender to the water, to the fluidity, how the muscles open, relax. There is no need to even to make a good warm up sometimes. It's just you connect with the element and everything opens slowly and release it. And I would say that the water from inside and the water outside, these movements of from our water, my water to your water, and the movements and the letting go, the surrendering to the waters of the other people to come in, and this giving and taking, this receiving, always the inside and the outside. Thank you.
beautiful, Evi. It feels like this ebb and flow, the contraction and the expansion that you're describing. And we're looking forward to see as a community how the dancing circle unfolds and brings the community together all the way leading up to October.
Get to October performance, performance or ritual. Let's see what I'm really looking forward for this.
Thank you, Evi. There's another, I believe, 3 themes that we're going to be looking at each month, so we can't go into everything this evening. Another circle is how we manage our drinking water. How we manage our drinking water as a growing and expanding community that puts pressure on the local drinking, let's say, system. And that circle on a local level is going to be held by Colleen Grasnick. I don't know if you want to unmute yourself and just say hi. Can you do that? Can you hear us? Can you say something? I just say
hello. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Yes. Yeah, to be here because water turned out to be a little bit of a challenge to living off the grid. And it looks like it got into my solar system, which has disrupted my energy source. So interesting how water came into being for me today. And a little bit about me. I'm a naturopath. I use herbal medicine and nutritional medicine to help people with their health as well as dietary and lifestyle changes. I studied for many years at universities, and the more I studied the sciences and the intricacies of biochemistry and cellular biology and the way our DNA replicates, the more spiritual I became because I saw how everything is so deeply interconnected. And what connects all of this is water. And it is the medium for life to exist. And where life exists, consciousness can exist. You could argue that a crystal has a consciousness. But for me personally, from my background, I would say that something must be living and replicating and exchanging atoms with its atmosphere and with its surroundings to be living, and therefore, in a way, is conscious immediately. I live off of the grid. I have my own little plot of land here, and collecting water is a very important aspect to keeping my gardens going and the future food forests that will be growing here. So water management is a massive aspect to living in harmony with nature. Also, drinking water is a huge one, because here on Corfu, we have some beautiful springs that produce wonderful drinking water, but unfortunately, from where we are,
Not hearing you very well, Colleen, at the moment.
where I am here in Rilas,
That doesn't sound very good.
it's quite a drive to get to drinking water and to get to the springs. So can you hear me now? I'm sorry, 3G.
Yeah, go. Colleen is going to be holding space about the theme of drinking water locally. We're also going to have a gentleman called Kostas Tsiringakis, who has been working on an incredible project on the island of Corfu called Yarda, which is the 6.5 kilometers of aqueduct of how the waters got from the spring of a place called Agideka all the way into town. And the lockdown has allowed groups of people to clear this aqueduct. So he's going to be presenting, as well as a gentleman called Matt Thornton, who's also going to talk to us about the importance of the container and how the container impacts the frequency of water. Another circle that we're going to be looking at is marine preservation. Because I don't know if you see, this is Gravia, the Viapondian islands of the northwest of Corfu are the waters I grew up in. And part of the reason that many people that gather here come because of the clarity of the water, the frequency of the water here. It's a big part of the magnetism somehow. So doing our bit to raise awareness of its beauty and to find ways to protect it is something that Kate Kapsokavadi is going to be organizing. I don't know if you want to say hi, Kate, or not. If you know, you don't have to.
Yeah, no, of course. Hello. That was just a beautiful movement, cellular water practice. I felt really connected and inspired, and think this is fantastic. Yeah, so I was here. I've spent a lot of time in the waters here in Corfu. I was born here and swam a lot in the sea, and I collect water from a spring up in the mountain, which is I'm very lucky. It's just a short path to get that. And after returning here about 2 years ago, I'm really inspired by the seas here. And although I haven't seen the dolphins or the monk seals, I've heard that there's just so much life still here, and would love to be part of trying to protect certain areas, try and raise awareness so that locals are people living here are aware what to do if they find a turtle, for example. And there are small projects going on, and then there's some, hopefully developing over the next few months, will be some really interesting marine preservation projects going on. So yeah, it's a really exciting time to be part of this island and part of the water movement here.
Yeah. Kate, thank you very much. You didn't tell us what it is that you do. You've specialized in environmental science.
Yeah, I specialize in environmental science, and it was in recycling and waste management was where I got most of my work experience. But during my degree, learnt a wide variety of kind of environmental issues and management. But actually, it wasn't until I worked in my job with people that I realized that until you really get people to kind of feel an issue and get people to really understand themselves, understand their community, understand the environment, there's so many more levels to environmental protection rather than just the management structures. So it's really, really important to look at it from a community level as well.
Thank you very much, Kate. Beautiful. I think the reason why the name Water Conscious came up was that, yes, we're looking at local solutions. We're thinking globally, but want to act locally and also have the consciousness and awareness at the same time that we are water. And if that really becomes fully present in us as an understanding, as an embodied experience, then I feel caring for water will just become a sort of a continuum of that belief, rather than something that happens in reaction to something that's taken place. And I'd like to pass the word to Mukta, because without a container, water can become destructive. Water can keep flowing in a way that is not channeled, is not directed, is not productive. So we are 75% water, but at the same time, we are containing that water. And it's because of Mukta, my dear friend Mukta, who very, very generously and facilitated, I think you will tell the story, of Corfu Buddhahold being the container for this gathering, which is an incredibly beautiful building that has been built with intent and has a very specific geometry and will contain our presentations, from which our messages can ripple far and wide. So Mukta, over to you as the hostess of Buddhahold.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I have my cats around that wants to eat, so if you hear weird noises, you know what it is, dinner time. I moved to Corfu 7 years ago, and I actually was organizing a workshop happening in Buddhahold, and it was my first time in Corfu. And when I step into this hall that I hope all of you will have the chance to see, something really happened, you know, in my heart, and a sense of calling myself back home happened. And so, and then brought me, you know, to move to Corfu, and actually now I am managing the Buddhahold, and together with Vasanti and Michelle, that are the owners of the place, that build the place with a lot of intention, we felt really called to host this water gathering. And what I wanted to say is that, so we are the container. We are very happy to offer the container. And for me, the container usually is associated with something rigid, but actually for me, the container is liquid, is water. Because if the container doesn't move, doesn't breathe, cannot really contain. So for me, it's very beautiful actually that I can do this work on an island, on Corfu, Mermaid Island, and there is a lot of feminine, powerful, watery energy that support us. So I think, so I'm very happy this can happen in Buddhahold, and that we can create this liquid container all together. So I hope to see you in October. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukta. Thank you very much. There's also another layer to this gathering, which is water and consciousness. And we're going to be really focusing on sound and water. Apostolia has already introduced it. Igor is a specialist. I'm very blessed to live very close to Igor and Arianna. Looking at the ways sound and water interact, and what happens when these two elements, let's say, come together, something new forms. So Arianna and Igor will be holding space, let's say, for sound and water locally. But before I pass it over to you, Igor and Arianna, there is a friend and a colleague called Javier Gonzalez, who is based in Argentina. He won't try and make it. He's not going to fly over. He is going to connect with us with Zoom. So we are learning to flow like water and to adapt to the circumstances of what will be possible at that time. And one of the things of working with water, so when I show up at the beach for a class, I've got to work with whatever water brings me that day and to really adapt to the circumstances. So, Arianna, Igor, would you like to say something about that, or shall we leave? I know, Igor, I've asked you to close this evening circle, and I would like to hear a few other voices as well. So I don't know whether to leave you as a sort of closure.
Leave it at last. It's perfect.
Yeah? Okay. There's also some beautiful friends here that I know. I know Vasya from Corfu. from childhood, a familiar presence. Katerina from university in Leicester. Who else? Anastasia, deep sea diver mermaid in Athens. And we've got another, let's say 10 to 15 minutes to allow any voice that would like to be heard and to say something. And to share part of their experience maybe today as World Water Day, something that they felt or touched them this evening.
Εγώ θα ήθελα να σας πω ένα πολύ μεγάλο ευχαριστώ για τη βραδιά που μας προσφέρατε. Εισέπραξα πολύ θετική ενέργεια και σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ για όλα. Σας ευχαριστώ. Καλό βράδυ.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. A little bit of time, anyone that's a little bit shy, that needs a little bit of a nudge to say something and share something. Everyone's feeling very content and settled in themselves.
Hello.
Pelagia.
Yes.
Τι ωραίο όνομα.
Yes. Thank you. I would like to say that I am very privileged to have a name which is connected to the water. But the contrast means that I'm afraid of it. In a way that I'm deeply connected. It relaxes me, it makes me feel home. But I was always afraid to get into depth of it, to really swim and be there. And I just want to share that, water is something amazing and beautiful and healing, but it's so powerful sometimes that can be also scary. Especially if you see something so huge like an ocean.
Yes. Thank you, Pelagia. Thank you for sharing the fear of water, because it is so huge and powerful. And I get people come for a session or something and they say, oh, I'm really scared. When I go out deep and it's black, I'm scared. It's like, yeah, I'm scared too. I think the abyss, the not being able to see the bottom is a natural, primordial fear. But even in that, when we learn to feel comfortable in the depths of water, and I think this is what Apostolia was also referring to, this time to go within and really go deep in deep water. That even when big waves arise, when we trust our waters and go with the flow, we surf that wave and we fall over, but we practice surfing the waves.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
sorry, can I say something about what Pelagia said? Because I just realized the fear of water has also to do with the light and the darkness. Because when you dive into the water, you can see, because the beams of the sun can penetrate the water until a certain depth. After a certain depth, when there is no light, you are in complete darkness. And this is going back to the womb somehow. No, Sophia? It's going back to the non-existence or before existence. And this is a deep fear because it's also related to death. So all these fears of the unknown can rise when we face a vast black sea, when the light is not there, and there's also wilderness, water wilderness, let's say. This is one thing I want to share about what you said, Pelagian. The second thing is that the waters are our emotions. The waters are our emotions. Our emotions are watery. So the waters are affecting our emotions. So when we feel that our emotions overwhelm us, are overwhelming, whatever, we need to calm our waters. And when we calm our waters, our emotions settle down. So it's very much related. Emotions and water is very, very much related. So what Igor and Arianna do, for example, or many other people on the planet do, I mean, today I cannot teach you floating in the water, and Sophia cannot teach you floating or rebirthing or whatever. We can only have some means. But is not only to find a spiritual connection, but to learn how in your everyday life you can observe when your emotions are ruling you and there's no balance. That means your waters are, overtaking you, overwhelming you or me. And then you, with resonance, sound and movement and breathing, you can calm the waters, allow the light to come in and to see the truth about how you feel or what you want. So this is a practice also. Not to, yes to surrendering, yes to flow, but also being conscious water gathering, conscious of when the flood is coming and taking us, which we create, and we are out of balance, let's say. So for me, both situations are very interesting to observe and eventually to, to calibrate them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Apostolia. I will dare to say something. I'm touched by how deep we dive quicker. We're more and more quickly diving really deep. And I guess I'm going to ask you again to put your hands back onto that heart of ours, because this is where it gets really scary, when the waves get really big, or the depth is really deep. Or we perhaps are going into unfamiliar waters. We go where we haven't been before, or we don't remember being before. And our heart starts beating faster, and we think we get scared. We think we're going to drown and we're not going to make it. Because there's that moment when we're being born that we pass through the birth canal. This is a sacred passage. The waters have broken. There is a flood. And I'm not quite sure if I'm being born or if I'm dying. But in my adult, embodied self, I have the capacity to now tell my heart that all is good and I'm safe and I've made it through to the other side. So perhaps in this moment you would like to take your waters as I pass over the word to Igor.
I feel not to overdo it with words, but rather to sing to my inner waters, to sing to the water I have in my hand, to sing to your inner waters, and to sing to the water you have in your hands. And after that, to close it with a Sufi mantra, which we can sing together for a couple of minutes. But first, let me sing some harmonics to you. These sounds should be able to float through your body, to go up from low to high, and to reach inside deeply. That is my intention. And have a nice sip. And the Sufi mantra goes Ya Wahabo. It means the waters, or the waters of life. It's our connection to everything fluid. Everything that all waters that are life-giving, I would say. And because we're into movement being the real container, it would be us going with our heart backwards and forwards. So it would go Ya Wahabo, 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 Yawahabo, 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 Yawahabo. My deep wish may all waters be pure, may all waters be cleaned,
May all waters be flowing.
And may all or most of you come to Corfu to actually hold hands, to sing together. I'm hoping to offer a beautiful concert with other friends as a closing for the water gathering. So we'll put all our lifeblood into this beautiful occasion. Thank you, Sophia, for bringing us all together, for holding the pole, for saying, "Thou shalt not pass," for being strong and fluid.
And thank you also, Apostolia, for being on board so beautifully. And for the practice and your sound and your guitar.
Thank you. I would like to keep on moving everyone, but this just a small taste of what we can do in October all together. Thank you so much.
And I think also that if this is a monthly connection, for some of you, it will be opportunities to play more with all these fluid ideas.
I have put the next date on the chat, which is Sunday, the 25th of April. It's Palm Sunday in Greece. I'm very curious to see how each circle will unfold, whether it's always going to be fluid and movement. Perhaps we'll have a few more scientists on board and researchers and adventurers as well. This is the blessing of water. It's so multidimensional. And it's helping all our multidimensional selves really merge into oneness and be fully present. And sometimes our soul and our spirit feel a little bit uncomfortable and squeezed in this physical body. And water is kind of easing it and makes it more comfortable for us to be fully embodied. Thank you. Thank you. I feel blessed for our presence and this circle. I feel the circle closed. If someone, I would keep the connection open for another 10 minutes. If people want to informally chat. Otherwise, καληνύχτα. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Ευχαριστώ νερό.
Thank you. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.